Unlock the power of your mind. This is Provocative Enlightenment with Eldon Taylor.
Welcome to another hour dedicated to inquiry, reflection, questions, possibilities, philosophical quandaries, uncovering dissonance, and a whole lot more, all in our effort to understand exactly what enlightenment means and what it is to be enlightened. Indeed, an hour dedicated to learning something more about ourselves, an hour designed to help us go further inward and perhaps challenge some of those old ideas about the world we live in and the people we have become. This is an hour for the open-minded, for where our search might take us may provoke a level of insight that may just perturb our notion of what is real, what is tractable, what is important, and more. It is therefore an hour where we admit that our foregone conclusions could all be wrong, and in that way truly open ourselves up to the plausibility of a new level of comprehension that in some way, somehow, may indeed lead to that elusive state known as enlightenment. All right, now every week I read a few of your letters as our way of paying homage to the importance you play in helping us to shape our show and improve it every way. June wrote, I have heard that you offer some free programs through your show. Can you tell me how I obtain them? All right, sure, June. And for those of you listening for the first time, we have our own Pay It Forward program. To that end, we offer a number of InnerTalk titles in MP3 version absolutely free. The titles range from the all-important beginning point, forgiving and letting go, to the daily needs such as stress reduction. These are not samples. This is the real deal, the patented and scientifically proven effective InnerTalk technology. And again, it's there as an aid to assist you in empowering yourself. All you have to do is go to my website, eldontaylor.com, and choose the free program option from the left-hand navigation pane. Enjoy. Now, Rhea wrote, I really enjoy your Hay House radio show. I love the way you get straight to the point and thoroughly explore the topic at hand, refusing to put on blinders and make nice. Thanks for your good work. Well, thank you, Rhea. Last week, our guest was Haska Harrison. Our discussion was all about the spiritual responsibility to be politically involved. Time to be proactive as opposed to passive. We discussed the world situation, none of it notably inspiring. And in particular, we spoke of Greece. The problem there is perhaps epistemic to the direction of much of what our country and most of Europe are looking at today. The day after our show aired, riots broke out in Greece, killing 3 people. Banks were burned, bombs were thrown, and all of this because the citizens of Greece have been told that their services are going to be cut, and they are going to be held accountable for paying taxes, and perhaps even higher taxes. Healthcare benefits, retirement payments, unemployment funding. In short, the social costs of their society must be reduced. The nation is broke. Matthew wrote, quote, I find it uncanny that your show anticipated what happened the very week following your broadcast. Riots, falling markets, currency problems, bankruptcy and all. What happens next? Well, the question in my mind, Matthew, is this. What happens when you become a nation of handouts? I mentioned last week the research that shows the more you give, the less it is appreciated, and the more that is expected. Now, this does not extend to all instances, but just think of your children for a moment. If everything is obtained with little efforts or sacrifice, if they get what they want because it's just easier to give in to them than to fight them on everything, if they don't have to work or earn anything, have you prepared them for life? Well, not for my generation, but perhaps you have. If our society is to become one that nourishes the idea that government or business or someone else should share their wealth and take care of us all. I'm amazed at some of the outright dissonance among many regarding such matters as self-responsibility and the law of attraction. For example, if a society operates on the basis of government will take care of you, where is the self-responsibility? I mean, would it cost any more to put the unemployed to work on projects that benefit society, pay them their unemployment checks while they do this work, and do so until they find a job that restores full compensation or regular pay to them? I don't think so. And again, if the law of attraction actually is something more than New Age hocus pocus, why don't we teach this to all? For as that age-old saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. My guest today does just that. I think of what she teaches, at least in this context, as the law of fishing. And her new book is all about the truth behind the law of attraction. Now, the principles underlying the nature of attraction are as old as written literature. They have been stated in many ways, ranging from what we sow, so shall we reap, to thinking is destiny. I remember reading of the principles of attraction for the first time myself well over 40 years ago. And yet when the film The Secret was released, suddenly there was renewed vitality added to this ancient teaching. There wasn't anything really secret about The Secret. That said, there was also a surge of misunderstanding and misinterpretation and so forth. This always leads to the chasm that is created between science and spirituality when statements are made that fail basic scientific scrutiny, statements that have or contain within them they're opposite. They're mutually exclusive. They can't both be false and true at the same time. For example, Wikipedia treats the entire matter this way. Quote, the phrase law of attraction used widely by New Thought writers refers to the idea that thoughts influence chance. The law of attraction argues that thoughts, both conscious and unconscious, can affect things outside the head, not just through motivation, but by other means. The law of attraction says that which is like unto itself is drawn. Various scientists have stated that many of the law's claims are impossible, violating scientific principles and a scientific understanding of the universe. Instead, the law may be explained as an illusion created by the connection between self-confidence and success or one's own perception, like the placebo effect. The skeptical inquirer criticized the lack of falsifiability and testability of the claims. Critics have asserted that the evidence provided is usually anecdotal, and that because of the self-selecting nature of the positive reports, as well as the subjective nature of any results, these reports are susceptible to confirmation and selection bias. Wikipedia continues, physicist Ali Alusi, for instance, criticized it as unmeasurable and questioned the likelihood that thoughts can affect anything outside of the head. End quote. All right. I know what I think about all of this. But we want your input and questions as well, so we invite you to join us. So, the stage is set. The question, what is the truth about the law of attraction? Can we unconsciously sabotage ourselves by holding the wrong thoughts, like hunger? And really all we have to do is think fish and fish will appear? Well, our guest today, Sandra Anne Taylor, is here to set all of this straight for us. She is a New York Times best-selling author, a friend of mine, has her own radio show right here on Hay House Radio, is a sought-after international speaker, and she has a terrific new book. And I mean, this is really a great book. Truth, Triumph, and Transformation, sorting out the fact from the fiction in universal law. And I'll tell you, if you want to know what the lies are, you want to get this book. If you have a question about how this law works, you will want to call in and speak with Sandra today. Welcome to Provocative Enlightenment, dear friend, Sandra Anne Taylor.
Thank you, Eldon. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, it's indeed our pleasure. You know, to start right out with, do you want to begin by setting us straight? What's the largest error most make when dealing with the principles of attraction? And by the way, you know, my mother used to just call the law of attraction. She put it this way, like attracts like, or birds of a feather flock together. What is the single largest error?
The single largest, well, there are two major ones. The single largest one that I see is the belief that if you just focus on what you want, then that's going to end up manifesting without any action, without understanding your life force energy. It's just, let's create a vision board and think about the end results. In fact, there are proponents of the law of attraction. And by the way, there's more than one law. It's laws of attraction, just like there are laws of the physical universe.
Right.
But many proponents say you don't need to take action. And this is, kind of what you were talking about in terms of your introduction there about Greece and people not having the ability to, take responsibility for themselves when everything is given to them. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. And the extension of that is, if things go wrong, this leads to the second problem that people misunderstand, is that if anything goes wrong, it makes me faulty. My thoughts were what created it. And yes, our thoughts do create reality. It is undisputed in the scientific world that consciousness creates reality. Now, this is cosmological, it's particulate, it's wave energy, but when you apply it to the human experience, what does that mean? What is consciousness? Consciousness is regarded as a field of information. Now, your consciousness is your field of your information. And this includes your entire life force. Your life force goes out in front of you. And so just sitting around and thinking about what you want is not going to manifest the results. It's what your life force is. That means what you get up in the morning and expect your day to be like, what you look in the mirror and view yourself as, that's all a part of your life force. And this is why it's gotten so diluted and convoluted in terms of these understanding of these very important principles.
So three things, if I can gel that back up, make sure that I understand you. First of all, those people that are out there telling all you have to do is imagine it and it will come to you, they're part of the problem. Second of all, those people out there that are telling you, look, if you're not getting it, if life sucks and then you die, it's because, something's really wrong with you. They, too, are part of the problem. Did I get
because look
those
at
two
that.
right?
Yes, and because if we're projecting a life force energy and then we're judging ourselves, that goes out and brings even more judgment and negativity. But you had a third item. What was that?
Yeah, well, the third one is, I love you dearly, but I have to check you on this. You said it is undisputed by scientists that thoughts create reality, and I wish it were. I believe.
No, I did not say thoughts create reality, honey. I didn't say thoughts create. I said it's undisputed that consciousness creates reality, and I'm talking about particulate. If you measure light, the consciousness of the observer actually determines what the light form will take in terms of particulate or wave energy. You're talking about the wave-particle
duality when you discuss that. And
yes, so that is
uncertainty principle, but it is not undisputed. Right. I have too many physicists around me to let that go. However, I do believe
that's fine.
that the day will come it will be undisputed.
I do
more
too.
and more evidence suggests you're absolutely right, Sandra. More and more. I get beat up by my audience when I let things like that go, though.
Okay,
so I have
absolutely.
To. Okay.
You call me on the carpet anytime you want.
Oh, hey. Now, listen, I love your book. I mean, that's a fact. As soon as I read the book, I went straight to Hay House. I put up a review of the book because I think this is your best book. And the reason I really love it is you're unafraid to take on, forgive the metaphor, but the so-called sacred cows, you put it straight out. So I'm going to ask you, what is the lie of attraction? What do you mean by the lie of attraction? That's how I have to say it. What do you mean by the lie of attraction?
There are several lies. These are actually half-truths and misconceptions of attraction, but it's a metaphor, really. The lies of, like what we talked about, just focus on what you want and it'll happen. If you have a negative thing, your thoughts created. There are many mysteries of creation. We have soul's intention. We have karma. We have natural life cycles. We have yin and yang cycles. We have our environment. So many different things. And you talk about this so beautifully in your book. You know, what does that mean? There are deeper and deeper levels of meaning to what happens to us. And it's so simplistic to say, well, if something bad happened to me, I thought it into existence. My main motivation originally for writing the book, I had a friend who was diagnosed with ALS, and she was into the, quote, law of attraction, and she, called me and said, what did I do to create this? And we investigated her thoughts, and people are suffering physically, financially, emotionally, and then to bring it on themselves and to find themselves faulty. And then the extension of that is, I'm not getting better. I must be continuing to do something wrong. There's no compassion there. There's no hope. There's no sense of potential in terms of all this self-judgment that goes on in these
horrible
negative
place
experiences.
Of shame and guilt.
Yeah, and doesn't that dig us in deeper?
It does. It's a downward spiraling. It's just, it really disturbs me when I hear a news person today say, as with Tony Snow lost his battle with cancer. You don't lose when you pass. I mean, unless we're all just born losers. Because I don't know anybody that walks on water, and I don't know anybody that's been here, 3,000 years. So it's just a terrible kind of a metaphor, and it heaps the guilt on. Our phone lines are lighting up. Our chat room's getting really busy, so let's just jump into some nitty-gritty before we take a phone call, okay?
Sure.
Your book defines something called the Attraction Phobia. Share with us what that is, would you please?
Yeah, the attraction phobia is when I become fearful of every thought that I think. I had a client that I work with clients on the phone all the time, and I had a client, she said, I'm troubleshooting my thoughts all the time, and she was, fearful of any kind of negative thought. And we have to accept ourselves as human beings and not condemn ourselves. It doesn't mean we want to sit in our negativity and dwell on any catastrophic event, but we certainly don't want to be fearful of the natural process of thinking and have a healthy and positive, optimistic attitude. Yes, I had a negative thought, but that doesn't have to indicate that, something horrible is going to happen. I can release that and think about what my adjacent possibilities are. That's a physical, a scientific term about thinking about your options right in the next moment. And so we really have to lighten up and get rid of this fear of our negative thoughts or even having negative feelings. I had a client who said, my husband beats me, but I don't want to think about that because it's negative and it'll make him beat me more. And I thought, oh my God, this is such a weird reaction to this. Yes, you have to think about your negative issues so you can deal with them.
I sometimes read your book, I listen to you speak, and I think, this woman she's talking about the same thing that I'm talking about. It's like we walk down the same. And in your book, you talk about the blame game as something, and I mean, this just feeds it. I mean, I've addressed this for 25 years. My research really started there. Why is this game so damaging?
When we blame ourselves or even others, we move into a point of powerlessness. And you talk about this too. When we give our power away by blaming others, we become a victim. When we blame ourselves, we have reached deep inside of ourselves and found ourselves really faulty and unable to cope, unable to do something different. And then what happens to our energy then? Whether you're talking about the laws of attraction and your life force energy or even your motivation throughout your day. that blame game moves into a sense of hopelessness. And hopelessness is a really very negative, dark, dense energy to live in.
Yeah, worse than that, Seligman showed us in some really innovative research, the hopeless, helpless dog, that the immune system just shuts down when you are in this hopeless stage. You actually exacerbate illness or physical conditions if you happen to be ill and you're in that place. We have about 4 minutes before we have our required break, and we should turn to some of these questions that we have on the telephone in the chat room. But I'm going to put one more to you before I turn you over. All right?
Okay.
Okay. You say that. I love your chapter titled "Focus, Hocus Pocus." Yes. One of the lies, now that's the title of your chapter. One of the lies you outline in this chapter goes this way: all you have to do is keep focusing on what you want, and eventually it will happen. Now, you treat these things as solutions, not solutions. I love how you play on that, S-O-U-L, solutions. So now you've basically already indicated to us what the problem is. Why is that a lie?
Because it does it creates a lot of a sense of lack. There are several levels of lack. First of all, if you focus on the end result, a lot of people become inflexible for other end results being able to make them happy. So there's a lack of flexibility. There's also a lack of receptivity from the universe. You're telling the universe, oh, I only want this, and don't send me anything else. And there could be some greater solution that the universe is willing to send and may be a part of your destiny, but you're locking the door to that. The biggest piece of this focus, hocus pocus thing is that when you focus too much on the end result, a lot of times you dismiss the action you have to take today. You need to also focus on the process. And I talk about in my book a friend who wanted to be the next Ernest Hemingway, wanted to be a writer, wanted to be, famous and a bestseller, and he had brilliant ideas. The man was brilliant. He had one problem: he hated to write. It was like, so he kept focusing on these books being published, and he would put his ideas in his computer, but he never wrote. We must get enthusiastic about the process. If we cannot get enthusiastic and take action in the process that leads to that desired end result, we will not have the staying power to see it through any obstacles. We will just give up. So this is a very, very important piece concerning that, focusing on what you want instead of focusing on what I can do today. And finally, focusing on what I want makes me not appreciate what I have a lot of time. And so when I'm not living in the state of appreciation, I am not creating the highest life force possible. I'm not valuing myself and my life at the present time. And so all of these things are elements that this excessive picturing the end result can have on the quality of your daily life and on the life force that you project to the universe.
The gratitude attitude and its power. Now, Sandra, are you doing a remake of the Genuine Secret with all of these insights?
Yes, I'm not doing. I'm in a movie that's coming out soon called The Truth, and that is going to cover this and a lot of things. But yes, it's my personal passion to set the record straight here.
That's wonderful. All right, listen, we're going to have to take a break. I promise we'll go to the callers and to the chat room when we get back. You're listening to Provocative Enlightenment on Hay House Radio. My guest today is the one and only Sandra Anne Taylor. We are discussing her work and ideas regarding the law of attraction. You can follow the links under Provocative Enlightenment on eldontaylor.com to her books, website, and more. You do want to read this book. If you've heard anything about the law of attraction and you've attended any of these seminars, you absolutely want to read her new book. We'll be right back after these words from some of our friends.
Have you talked to yourself lately? What does that inner voice say? Are you constantly hearing negative feedback? Ready for a change? Inner Talk, Eldon Taylor's patented subliminal technology, can do just that. Change your inner self-talk. Turn off the negative by replacing it with positive affirmations. Inner Talk has been researched at universities such as Stanford and by governments around the world, and has been proven effective at priming your self-talk. Armed with a new positive outlook, you'll find everything becomes easier, from losing weight to stop smoking, giving presentations to riding horses. Learn new things to being a powerful salesperson. Choose your title for change today. Visit www.innertalk.com. That's INNERTALK.com. Innertalk.com.
Confusion, deception, manipulation, feeling a bit controlled, lost. Learn how you can take back control of your life through proven techniques in Eldon Taylor's revised edition of Choices and Illusions. This New York Times bestseller is a guidebook to your journey to self-actualization, filled with practical, real-life solutions backed by scientific studies and guaranteed to awaken your inner genie. Get your copy today from all bookstores.
Unlock the power of your mind. This is Provocative Enlightenment with Eldon Taylor.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, I'm discussing the truth and the lies from the laws and principles of attraction with Sandra Anne Taylor, author of the great new book, Truth, Triumph, and Transformation, sorting out the fact from the fiction and universal law. You know, Sandra, we got a lot of calls and chat room people. Let me ask you something, because I really love this book. Is it possible for you to give copies of this book to our callers today?
I would love to. Would love to. In fact, let's give a free copy of Truth, Triumph, and Transformation to the first 3 callers.
First 3 callers? You're sliding my chat room. You have to take care of my chat room, too.
Okay, then if you can get the addresses for me, we'll give them to 3 of those people, too.
All right, we've got it. Well, let's take a call then. We'll go to line 1. Natalie in New York has been very patient in holding. And Natalie, we just got you a free copy of the book. You're on the air with Sandra Anne Taylor.
Thank you so much, Sandra Anne Taylor. I'm so
welcome,
happy.
Natalie.
I'm so glad that I'm listening right now. Thank you so much. My question is to be short. Thank you. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for the book. My question thank you for Hay House. I love them. My question is, I'm going now to restart my business. And my question is, according to what you say, I'm asking and I'm receiving the answer. I already received your answer, but I would like you to maybe to add something or repeat. If I want to experience prosperity, abundance, joy, satisfaction for myself, my family, and my clients, what is the most important, what you can recommend, how to focus?
Okay, the 3 most important pieces of this process is the core piece is your self-esteem. If you have any self-judgment or self-criticism, it's very important to redo that. And I'm sure, in fact, I know that Eldon has some CDs on his Inner Talk program about self-esteem. So we need to reverse any negativity about self. Find yourself valuable, affirm yourself, and live in an an energy of confidence. The second piece is, what is my life force energy like? What are my emotions on a daily basis? Do I tend to live in depression? Do I tend to live in excitement? Because your dominant emotion is a big part of your life force energy. If you're consistently in a negative emotion, you need to look at the thoughts behind that and rewire your brain so that you can give yourself options to think differently and to rid yourself of these emotions, even if it needs to be with the help of a therapist. And finally, joyous action. Not just the end result. You want to take action and have joy in the action. Those are the three pieces. What can I do today with joy and excitement about my process that will move me closer to my goal?
Wonderful.
Okay, honey?
Thanks.
Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Good luck to you on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you. You
Natalie.
too, Natalie.
All right, let's take one out of the chat room. We'll just bounce back and forth, all right? Bella in the chat room says, any suggestions on law of attraction when you know it and yet find yourself experiencing what could be a fate moment? How do you move beyond this?
There is a lot of experience in terms of identifying this is a moment of destiny, a moment of I don't like the word fate so much because it's kind of predetermined, although karmically our energy can bring us into connection with people that don't necessarily promote our highest and best. And so what we have to do when we recognize this moment of fate or moment of some sort of experience outside of our control, let's say, we can identify it and say, all right, what is the lesson here for me to learn? What is it that I'm supposed to be engaging in? And usually our soul's intention, and this is a very dynamic piece of the laws of attraction, our soul has intentions too, and they may be very different than our desire to have a mansion and a Porsche. You know what I mean, Eldon?
Yeah, I do. I know that one firsthand.
So if we ask ourselves, okay, yes, I'm going through a hard time, or I have this moment of a choice here, a fate, of destiny, where I need to make a choice and I need to find out what honors me, what promotes my sense of my own dignity, what promotes my spiritual path. When we go into that, we can meditate on that, we can find some answers, because there are all sorts of assistance in fact, I call them the dream team, the assistants on the other side, including our own higher self, but the spirit world around us is filled with help. And if we can just meditate on what my next step on my path is, we will often get the answer that we seek.
Excellent. All right, let's go to line 3 on our telephone. I believe this is Lori. Have I got that correct? Lori from Royal Oak, Michigan?
Yes, that's correct.
Welcome to the show, Lori. You're on the air with the one and only Sandra Anne Taylor. Excuse me, I had a gulp in my throat. I had to swallow.
Hello, good morning.
What can we do for you today?
It's afternoon here, but good morning to you. I'm just scratching the surface of the law of attraction. Just within the last 30 days or so, I've just been trying to educate myself and expose myself to all of the teachings that are out there, and a couple of things have come up, and I'd just like to know your comments on whether you come across people that say that the law of attraction defies certain religious beliefs. Do you find that it's not accepted through the different religions, the organized religious groups?
There are some religious groups that are probably a little judgmental of it, although I was in a movie called Beyond the Secret, and which was directed mostly for the Christian community. The thing is, if you look at the principles of your life force and your consciousness and your energy and your intention, if you know that you are a child of God, and as a child of God, you are deserving of every great and good thing that has been created on this planet, I don't see how that can conflict with the various spiritual teachings that are out there. If I create a partnership with God in working on my goals and know that I am valuable as an eternal soul and a child of God, there is nothing that can stop me. And the fear-based thoughts or the limitation thoughts of some people in some religions, and I'm not saying, necessarily Christian or whatever you might come against, can be really eradicated when you look at this from a spiritual angle and from a partnership with the divine. The divine created this universe for us to experience all these wonderful, great, and good things, and we have to look at that as our source of value and our source of deserving. So no, I feel it doesn't conflict at all, but I'm sure there are people out there that are saying it's the work of the devil, which I don't understand.
That information was exactly what I was looking for. Just real briefly, I have a friend who's at the same stage in our journey in educating ourselves, and we share different thoughts and experiences. And I'm from one religious group, she is from another, and the comment came up, and we didn't know where to turn for the answer, and that was the answer I was looking for. And I appreciate you taking my call, and I look forward to reading your books.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're welcome, and I really want to encourage you to stay with it in spite of the naysayers, because it's really finding about who you are in a divine way. And my book, Quantum Success, has a whole section on how the divine really influences, and the spirit energy influences our force field of attraction. So you might want to check that one out first.
That was going to be my final question, if there was a book that you could lead me to where I could read a little bit more. And that was the answer. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for calling.
Sure.
God bless you.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Sure.
Out of the chat room, Mod Girl says, and I love this question. This is a great question. What is the best way to teach kids about the laws?
I have been asked to write a book about this, and so that it can be used in schools, and in the future I plan to do that. The best thing that you can teach kids is to generate an authentic acceptance of themselves, and then when they have difficulties, they know they can rely on themselves. And this, as I said to a previous caller, the self-esteem is the core force of your life force vibration. It is the core generator. And so really the best thing you can do is teach them how to love themselves, accept themselves, and know that they have power in the universe. And you can still teach them some of the technicalities. I've worked with people who've taught their kids how to study and visualize them doing well, but taking the action to support that also. And so you can teach them some of the technicalities, but the most important piece is really teaching them how to value and love themselves and find themselves worthy. And when you find yourself worthy, that's when you get what you're worthy of.
Wonderfully well said. All right. We're still working on free books here. Maybe I should just start passing out free self-esteem programs, too.
That's right.
Indeed, I will do that, all right? Anybody that has a self-esteem issue, we will do that in tandem with your book. We have Gene from Chicago, Illinois on the line. Gene, it's your turn to get a free book. What's your question today for Sandra Anne Taylor?
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for taking my call, both of you. I have been working, so vigorously on all these different concepts and listening to all sorts of books and tapes, and know that I'm going to move into another career, and I don't know what that is yet. And so I'm doing a lot of meditating and trying to figure that out. In the meantime, my current career I'm struggling in my current career, and I'm fearful that, it's letting go of me, faster or before I'm ready. I still need to pay the bills. I still need to, and if I know something new is coming around the corner, but I don't know what it is yet, and I'm just terrified. So I have a lot of fear, and now I'm afraid that I'm, manifesting bad stuff because I have all this fear because I can't see what's coming around the corner. I feel patient, like I need to take time to figure it out, but
You do, and I feel that in your energy, honey. I really want to relax. I just want to let it go. I want to stay in my present career while putting my toe in the water of different things that I want to experience so that I can test where I want to go in terms of what resonates with me. If we pick a career that resonates with us, we're much more likely to have the success that we want. So you want to just let yourself be less urgent, because urgency moves us into one of the laws, which is called the law of Paradoxical Intent. We've all been there. Paradoxical intent says the more desperate we are to achieve a certain outcome, the more our desperate energy will actually sabotage our results and create the opposite, or the paradox of our intention. So we want to rein in the urgency, and I really feel like staying. And I'm getting into an energy reading here, which I was actually not planning to do, but I have to tell you, I do see a new beginning, a wonderful new beginning for you. But I want to take my time, and I want to see what is open and what is available to me. And you also have to realize you're picking up, part of your fear is picking up on the shared consciousness. And I talk about this a lot in my new book, Truth, Triumph, and Transformation. And that shared consciousness today in this economy is very fearful. So I want to breathe and relax and say, I can let go of the fear, move in the direction of, and also I want to open up to my spirit's capacity to help me. And I actually do this sometimes when I don't know what I want to do. At night, I'll go to sleep and send my higher self out and say, you go search the world and find the right person to be, my publisher or my this or my that. And surprisingly, if I continue to do that with faith and let go of the urgency, faith and surrender, then it really accelerates the process. So just let yourself relax with it, let go of the urgency, release the shared consciousness of fear, and I can trust. I open my heart and my life to trusting myself and my path, and then ask your higher self to move forward.
Yeah, I've been having wonderful dreams and all sorts of, I've been seeing all different kind of signs. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
That's
what I was picking up. You're definitely getting information from Spirit.
Yeah, and I'm loving it, and I'm grabbing it and just like, okay, well, this is unfolding, but in the meantime, the fear, like you said, the shared consciousness, in my current career, I'm in sales, I meet with lots of people who are so fearful. And I think I'm, picking that up, and I should just wash off when I get home. But
yes, actually put water on your throat chakra and your crown chakra right on the top of your head when you leave those meetings, and you bless them and let them go, and you affirm that can be their experience, but it's not my truth. And I open myself to the truth of the abundance of the universe.
But I still need to succeed in this career so that I can stay here. I'm in sales, and if I don't succeed.
Okay, I want you to try that thing with the higher self. I had somebody in real estate call me recently, and she sent out her higher self. She said, I need 3 listings this month, and she got 3 calls the next day and had those listings. So whatever it is you need, clients or whatever, you say to your higher self, this is what I need, and I'm going to send you out. Now, it might not happen the next day,
right?
But let it happen, okay, honey?
But I had them searching my next career. I didn't even think to ask them to help me. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for calling,
Good
Jean.
luck, honey.
Thank you.
All right. And the third book going to the chat room. And that would be Andreas, I believe. His question is, could you ask Sandra what's a good affirmation or clearing technique to attract the right girlfriend to your life?
Well, there's a lot of things that you can do. First, you want to project. You want to think about the energies you want, communicative and respectful, and there's reciprocity. So you want to create that energy in your life. When I was going through my second divorce, I said, okay, what energies, I thought at that time I'm never getting married again. But I said, I'm probably going to date, so what energies do I want to put out there? And in fact, can we get can we get his address, because I'm going to send him an Attracting Love meditation where you send out, you project your highest and best qualities, and it goes out into the field of abundance, the universal field of potential, and then attracts the partner in the energetic realm first. So what you want to do, honey, is think of the characteristics you want to attract and choose to project them. You want to say and affirm, I am valuable. I am valuable to any relationship, and I am attracting the ideal partner to me now. I open my heart and my life to connecting with a person who is going to be loving and supportive and willing to commit and communicative, and whatever it is, you can make a list of what it is, and you put that out there, but then don't dwell on it. The obsession and the desperation, especially this law of paradoxical intent, is so true, but it's especially true when it comes to love, because people feel desperate energy. So you want to just let it go and say, in the meantime, I am responsible for creating the healthiest and happiest life for myself possible. And as you do that, you project a happy life force, and you will really start to attract happy people.
Wonderfully well said, and we will have the address. I'll see that you get it. Now,
okay.
The phones are lighting all up. You know, I love it. You get a great guest. You have great energy, and everybody wants to take your time. And so I'm gonna defer some of the questions that I have, but I want to make a point before we take another call. Your book covers not just the lies, but it covers a complete explanation on the practice. And that's something I really liked about it. You have certain law practices, the practice of the law of manifestation, the practice of the law of magnetism, the practice of the law of pure desire. Paradoxical intent, as you have just already covered, the law of harmony, right action, expanding influence. This is really a tremendous book for those of you that are interested. I don't normally plug books. I am plugging this book. I enjoy this book very much. I think Sandra has done an excellent job at sorting the fact from the fiction. Okay, there's my opine for the day. I will send you a bill for that, Sandra.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take line 6, as opposed to asking you for how you practice each of these, and we'll talk to Judy from Akron, Ohio.
Right
Judy,
back.
you're on the air.
Hi, Sandra Anne. I get 2 of you this week, I see.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Fine. My question was sort of like an earlier one that you answered. If you're wanting this law of attraction, and like you said, I don't have any fear. I'm very open. But if I was sent down here for a specific, like you said, specific path, and what I want in my attraction, what I want to attract, goes against that, yeah.
Well, here's what I think about this, Judy. I don't think that the specific situations are predestined. Some specific connections, like relationships and things, are karmic, and we draw them in because we need to learn from that energy. My next book is about karma and encoded consciousness. However, when I was talking about soul's intention, your soul may have an intention, but it's always personal. In other words, like learning how to love myself. And your soul doesn't mind you becoming rich. It doesn't mind if you want to have a car and a mansion. It just says, let's do it in the parameters of what's really important. It's like love of self, compassion for others, finding your spiritual connection. These are, and I talk about all the 4 or 5 basic types of soul intention. It's not that cancels out your desire. It's just that when your desire, if you look in the mirror and say, I hate myself and I hate my life, but I want this mansion, you see, and if your soul's intention is to learn how to love yourself, the soul will be served first before your personal intention. And so if you can align your soul's intention and learn how to live that higher life, that enlightened life, which Eldon calls provocative enlightenment. When you can do that, you can then put it out there, and then the physical life promotes that.
Okay, So I'm basically really right on the life path, the right thing by wanting what I want. Yes, I do want more money, but it isn't, for me, it's to help other people that I see and certain things in the environment, the bees.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's
so
a high soul intention.
Yeah,
that's
so
wonderful.
I should be good.
But we're out of time, too, Judy.
Okay, thank you
I'm sorry
so
to
much.
cut you off, but thank you very much for calling.
Okay, thanks for calling, Judy.
I don't know where the time goes. Listen, real quick, Sandra, I know you've got some upcoming speaking engagements. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. Tell us about them.
Okay. I'm speaking in Europe. I'll be in Portugal next weekend, purple-energy.net, and I'll be in London the following weekend, mindbodyspirit.co.uk, and I have several events in Lilydale at lilydaleassembly.com, and you can get that on the website, lilydaleassembly.com.
And they can go to your website, or they can check your links at my website. There you go, SandraAnneTaylor.net, right?
No N in the website. SandraTaylor.net.
Okay, SandraTaylor.net. All right.
Right.
Sandra, I appreciate you very much. You really do bring a bright light to this whole issue. I can't thank you enough for being here today. We've come to the end of another hour of Provocative Enlightenment, and I want to thank all of you out there for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed our show, and will join us again next week, same time and same place. My guest next week is a wonderful New Age musician, good friend of mine, Stephen Halpern. We're going to play some of his music, and you'll love it. Okay? And now, my parting farewell. I've got a new one, and we're just going to hang to this. Believing in yourself always matters.